Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while since I've done a video, and I am going to give my thoughts on Monster Hunter World with Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I have not done the end game of Iceborne, but I have completed the story, and I think I have done quite enough to know whether or not how I feel about the game, and I can give my thoughts on the game. So, let's start with the base game. I guess I could just talk about the whole thing as a whole package, really. Iceborne's more of a extension of the game. Monster Hunter World is amazing game. This game is extremely deep. It has some incredible RPG elements. It is insane. This is probably become in my top 10 favorite games of all time. And I have never played a Monster Hunter game until now. This is the only Monster Hunter game I have ever played. Man, sorry, I just woke up and I was like, I'm thinking about what I want to do today, what I want to stream, and I'm like, I need to make this video. But, first, I want to go ahead and talk about actually some of the things that I don't like about the game. Because there's very few, and this won't take too long. One, the game's story is pretty lackluster. I mean, I get lackluster is maybe not the right word. It's tropey. It's very meh. The story is not that great, but nobody plays this game for the story. Other things about the game I think that are not that great, and I think these are the bigger issues with the game as to why there are a lot of people who can't get into the game. It is like when I say it's in depth, it might be in depth to the point where maybe too much with certain things. The game itself does a very poor job at explaining mechanics, explaining a lot of things that you can do. It throws so much at you very early, even though it's still throwing new things at you the entire time you're playing the game. The game is very... there's so many things to do in the game. And when it does like give you tutorials, it's very vague sometimes. It's poorly written. There were so many things that, like, I think it was like 100 hours in once Iceborne started, and I still had no idea how to do certain things or what certain things meant. Or, like, oh, you can do that? Oh, that's what that means? I didn't know. The game does a really bad job of explaining a lot of things. That being said, the only other things that I can really think of that would be a negative is more of things that are personal choice, or they're subjective things. But they're things that I think there's a lot of people on both sides of this, and one of them is the combat it has that sluggish feel. It has that weighted feel. And in a lot of games, I absolutely hate that. I hate that feeling of everything's kind of slow. You do an animation, your character's locked in animations. So everything is kind of slower than if you're used to like really fast games, things like Devil May Cry or something. Even something like Dark Souls, even though it's a slow combat, things are very precise and snappy. This game is not. It is absolutely not. But it is something that you learn, and everything is built around that. The combat is built around that, and is something that you develop a skill around. But a lot of people I know don't like that type of combat, period. There are faster weapons, there are slower weapons, there are more, there's range weapons, things like that. But even the fastest weapons in the game, which I believe are the dual blades, longsword's pretty fast too. Same thing with Sword and Shield. It still has that sluggish feel, lots of animation locks, weighted movement. It obviously has nothing to do with even your attacks to begin with, So you have to be able to get past that. And if you can't, a good example is when Witcher 3 first came out. I couldn't even play the game because I hated that movement. It was so bad to me. So I waited about a year once all the 2 DLCs came out, and I found out you could actually disable that movement, disable the weighted movement, and then I played through the game. But I was able to do it with this game. I don't know why. I think So like this game, Monster Hunter World, in a nutshell, is just a massive grind game. You're just grinding. Basically, you're just hopping in. You get told, go kill this monster. Okay. You kill that monster, you get monster parts. With these monster parts, you can now make new gear, or you have some components to make new weapons, new armor. There's other things you get later on in the game, charms, decorations to improve yourself, and then there's like armor sets and things like that to try to get like more stats. And it all just comes down to killing or hunting monsters. That's all the game is, from beginning to end. Monster hunts are going to take you, as long as you're doing something that's about your difficulty equivalent, it's going to take you about 20 to 30 to 40 minutes every time. You have to like this grind. I love this grind, and I understand for those who don't. I completely understand it. To me, I look at this as... So, there's another game called Dauntless. I have never played Dauntless. Actually, no, I take that back. I did play Dauntless when it very first came out. And I believe it came out before Monster Hunter World. Like the early access or beta or something like that. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on it. But I remember trying it. And I remember thinking, okay, this concept is kind of cool, but this is very, very basic. There's nothing really here. It felt super repetitive from the beginning. Granted, obviously, like I said, I was playing beta, early access or something. I've done a lot of reading about a lot of people, what they said about the game. Like, I've read tons and tons of stuff. And most people would say Dauntless is a Monster Hunter World light. I've seen a lot. I've watched a lot of streams of Dauntless just to make sure that my, what I think about it is true or pretty close. And while the game does differ, actually, in a lot of ways, the core concept of the game is the same. And yeah, it's a free-to-play game, unlike Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World is the path of exile to Dauntless being Diablo III. It's kind of, I mean, it's not the best analogy, but it's what I've been using. Obviously, the difference is Diablo 3 is not free, and Dauntless is free, so it's kind of swapped in that regard. But Path of Exile is a much deeper action RPG. It's very deep. You can't just blow through the game and get to end game and get carried in literally like 10 minutes. In Path of Exile, it's going to take you at least a few hours to get the maps. Even if you're really good. It's still going to take you a few hours, right? Because the game is just deeper. There's more to the game. It's meatier. It has more depth. It's more fleshed out in a lot of ways. But sometimes people want something where you just jump in, do what you need to do, jump out. That's where Diablo 3 comes in. I still play Diablo 3. I played the most recent season, had a blast, did everything I needed to do in the season. Took me about like 4 days. And I had an absolute blast. I honestly loved almost every second I played of it. Path of Exile, current season, current league, that I played. I pretty much did everything except Awakener. And I think I put in about 100 hours. Big difference, right? The 4 days, I think, of Diablo 3 might have been around like 25 to 30 hours. I put in over 100 hours in Path of Exile for the same, for like their same thing. They call it leagues. Diablo 3 calls it seasons. Put in like more than 3 times the amount. And I had a blast. Monster Hunter World's kind of like that for me. Game's awesome. Now, Iceborne came out very recently for the PC. I never played the PS4 version, right? It's extended. In the base game, you have low rank and then high rank. Basically, all it really means is just high rank is just further on in the game. You have these stars. You have your hunter rank. You're gonna beat the game when you beat the story. You'll be hunter rank 16, and high rank is literally just hunter rank 8 and above. Or there's also the star system. I believe it's star 6 and above. Maybe that's the hunter rank. I don't remember. All I remember is they didn't even need to put hunter rank. They could have just said like, no, just put a straight number, and it meant the same thing. And then the base game, then you have, even though you beat the story at 16, you get new things unlocked all the way up to, I believe, hunter rank 100. I didn't get that high. All I did in the base game was I did the Witcher quest. I did I think I fought every unique monster and beat every unique monster except Behemoth. I fought the Behemoth many, many times. People are just really bad, and I was constantly getting people that just kept dying to the stupid meteor thing. Oh well. And it sucks because the Behemoth is a fight that doesn't scale down or up or whatever for single, or multiplayer. It's just has a base HP and that's it. And it even says this fight is designed specifically for co-op, kind of thing. Doing it solo is near impossible, especially before Iceborne. Iceborne comes in. Low rank, high rank means nothing. Master rank. You start off at master rank. And just like in low rank, there's ends up becoming tempered, harsh tempered. And be the story around a master rank 20 or so. I think that's what I might have been at. I'm literally only in the quest right after you beat the story, but I've done a lot of farming since then. I've been debating if I want to stream more of this game or if I'm kind of done, if I just want to kind of keep it as now my off-stream game, because the game's really fun. But now I'm getting back into some other stuff. Not sure, but I know there's things called Guiding Lands. You're going to have to start doing master rank of a lot of other monsters from the base game. But yeah, the Iceborne has a lot of unique monsters. Ooh, excuse me. A lot of unique monsters and a lot of variants of monsters we've already faced. The Glavenus is sick. Namiel looks really cool. Might be one of the coolest looking monsters in the game. I think to fight the Glavenus is really cool to fight. I mean, you have the Brachydios, Nargacuga. You guys are really cool to look at. The Barioth is cool. The Velkhana is cool, even though she's the most annoying, cheapest fight in the game. Don't at me. That fight just sucks. The Everworm or whatever was easier. The Ishvala, Shara, whatever. But this game is just so good. What it does. That's why that's like the main thing I gotta try to get across, right? Because I love this game. I love it a lot. But if you don't fall in love with the game within the first few hours of playing it, you're not gonna like the entire game, because it's the same thing. It's just a carrot on the stick for, oh, new gear, new weapons, new gear, new weapons. That's all it is. New gear, new weapons, fighting some new monsters. That's, those are your three things that you have to look forward to from the beginning through the end. Like I said, the story's not that great. Serviceable, I suppose, but and it's the same loop. Jump in, hunt the monster, jump out. Jump in, hunt the monster, jump out. That's basically it. Anyways, that's basically what Monster Hunter World is with Iceborne. If you like these kind of games, if you like something that's very grindy, but you have clear goals with new weapons, new gear, and they look sick, and the ability to fight really cool large monsters, you're gonna like this game. But if you don't like something that's very grindy, and when I say very grindy, I mean very grindy, right? I put in about 150 hours with the base game and Iceborne just in the last couple of months. And I'm probably going to put in a lot more hours, especially off stream. Maybe this isn't for you. The game, maybe it's not for you. Anyways, take care, guys. And hopefully I'll be doing some more videos, because I literally hadn't played anything except Monster Hunter World since my last video. I plan to start pumping out some more videos of some shorter games. Anyways, guys, take care, and I will see you next time.